Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest's new novel is a Florida crime caper full of oddball characters, all trying to get their hands on a lost treasure. We welcome back to AM Northwest the author of Swamp Story, Pulitzer Prize winning, and New York Times best-selling writer, Dave Barry. Dave, great to see you again. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You know, I would ask you how you come up with these stories, but Florida's kind of rich with stories like this.
Yeah, everything in this book, I think, could actually happen, which is terrifying, really. But yeah, it's mostly based on things that either have happened or could happen. Starting with the idea that launched it for me was a thing called the Python Challenge, which a lot of people don't believe is real, but it is. It's a contest we run down here where we invite people, amateurs, to come and kill these enormous Burmese pythons. Like, what could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? That's just crazy.
Yeah. And the thing about that is that the pythons are winning. They're much better at it. We should have challenged a species that we could defeat, but we picked the pythons anyway.
And then is one of the oddball characters based on you, the newsman?
Well, yeah, loosely. Phil, the alcoholic ex-newspaper guy, who desperately needs money so badly that he ends up stumbling around in his TikTok video wearing a Dora the Explorer costume head. He's supposed to be this monster that lives out in the Everglades, but I've never actually done that. I want to stress that, but yeah, very loosely, Phil is me.
So kind of give me an idea. Jessie is the main character. Let's start with her. Tell me about the story.
Yeah, she's a young woman who through poor choices on her part, ends up with this really jerk of a guy out in the Everglades. And she desperately needs to get out, needs money, has no money. They have a baby, and she wants to get out. And she stumbles across a treasure. And this is all based on legend, but there are a lot of people who believe that there's treasure out in the Everglades. She stumbles across one and thinks she can use it to get out. Unfortunately for her, there are other people looking for the same treasure, very bad people who she knows where it is. So that's bad. And then you've got this group of people who are trying to create this monster on TikTok also out there. Then you have a presidential candidate out there for the Python Challenge. So it all sort of comes together in a weird and wacky bizarre finale out there.
Now, how did you know about TikTok? Do you use TikTok?
I don't really, but my daughter does. She's 23. And I want to stress she's a very intelligent, thoughtful person, well-educated human being. But she goes on TikTok, which is this app that was designed by China to prevent the United States from ever doing anything ever again. They're over there making things, making useful products, and we're over here going, oh man, look at the dogs! Oh, look at these people dancing! And the next thing you know, the sun is set and you're still in your pajamas looking at TikTok.
Absolutely.
So TikTok plays a big role in the story. Anyway.
Okay, speaking of dogs, though, Lucy was a. Tell me about Lucy, because a previous memoir that you wrote dealt with lessons from Lucy.
She's, in fact, I'm looking at Lucy now. I would tell her to come over and say hi, but she doesn't hear very well anymore, and she's sleeping. She sleeps all day, but Lucy's doing great. She's actually even whiter in the face than she is in that picture. She's turned completely ghost white in her face, but she's very comfortable with her age. And there she is with Sophie, the TikTok girl, who's now a grown woman.
That's so sweet. And that's partially a memoir. And I understand that you're working on another memoir.
Yeah. Lessons from Lucy was really more just things I learned from my dog. I am actually trying to write a memoir now. That's what I should be doing. Instead, I'm talking to you, but I should be writing a memoir.
Well, what are you going to feature? I mean, you've lived this incredible life so far. So would it be all the times you visited Portland? Because you've been visiting Portland forever. I'm looking at a shot here of you and Jim Bosley, the original host.
Speaking of which, I knew that I was going to be on. This is my exploding whale.
Your jersey.
Eugene Emerald's exploding whale jersey. I feel this strong connection with the exploding whale story from 50 years ago out there. And when I found out that they were renaming the Eugene Emeralds, look at that. They have, guys, you guys are quick with the video. I had to have that jersey. So I do. I have it now. I don't know where I'm going to wear it, but I have it.
And what is it about the story that appeals to you so much? Just the ridiculousness of blowing up a whale?
Because it's the single greatest thing that human beings have ever done in the history of the world. And I include the invention of the wheel in that statement, was the decision to blow up the whale and all the wonderful things that ensued. You can watch that video and never get tired of it. At least I will never get tired of it.
No, I hear you. I'm looking, I see the guitar in the background. You're still a member of the band, right? It's like made up of writers?
The Rock Bottom Remainders. Yeah, we play our genre as hard listening music. Look, you even have a picture of the remain. There we are. We look better than we sound, and as you can see, we don't look that great. There's me with Stephen King and the late Warren Zevon. Stephen is an original member of the band, and Warren, for many years, played with us. We don't know why. He was a real musician, but he loved hanging out with us, so that was a lot of fun.
And so how often do you get together?
I mean, the last time we played was the previous photo you showed before the Warren and Stephen one. That was in Nantucket, and it was last May, so that was about a year ago. There's not a huge demand for us to play. You know, we raise money for charities, but typically after the charity has hurt us, they don't really want the money.
Yeah. We talked about losing people here. Richard Belzer. We lost Richard Belzer recently. And I know you guys.
There he is.
Yeah.
He was one of the many people who have played with our band, Richard Belzer. There he is. The guy on the left there is the late Frank McCourt, the great, incredible memoirist, Frank McCourt. And the guy right next to me there is Alan Zweibel, who's one of the original Saturday Night Live writers. So, yeah, we've had, I don't know why, but a lot of really talented people get on stage with the Remainders.
And you actually write a lot with Alan.
Yeah, we wrote a book called Lunatics. There we are. We wrote a book called Lunatics together. And then we wrote a couple of other books. So, yeah, he's my good friend, even though you can see he's crazy.
But we love him, too, because he's been on the show before. We love him.
No, he's a good man.
Okay, so we've been going back and showing you pictures from the past. Do you remember being on the Wheel of Fortune with Rita Moreno?
Yeah, I defeated Rita Moreno on Wheel of Fortune, and another, I can't remember the other actress. There I am, looking young, and spinning the big wheel. It took the problem we had was we kept trying to just you have to buy a vowel. If you ever go on Wheel of Fortune, just remember this, that Pat Sajak will get mad at you if you say a vowel without trying to buy it.
Got it. With the fact that you live in Miami, Florida, and all these great ideas come from Miami, Florida, all the amazing news stories really come out of Florida. All the true crime shows come out of Florida. Do you ever see yourself leaving Florida?
No, I love Florida. I mean, it's really it's wonderful fodder for me. I mean, I like to write humor, and as Carl Hiaasen, the great writer, says,
love him. If
you live down here, you don't need an imagination to write novels. You just need a subscription to the newspaper. Exactly. And people judge us. People judge Florida because of all the weird things that happen here, but it's really not fair. People should remember there are 21 million residents in this state. Is it fair to judge 21 million people just because of the bizarre actions of 19 million people?
Probably not. We want to tell our viewers the book again is called Swamp Story. Dave Barry, thank you so much. Always wonderful to talk with you.
Me too. You guys were so prepared. I felt like my whole life passed before my eyes doing this interview.
Sorry about that. But now you're ready for your memoir. You've got all the information you need to remind you.
I do.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.